Friends, Rising East is going to present today the effects of trade war on India. And we have our 10 enthusiastic members with Sindoor today to show our support for Operation Sindoor by Indian forces. And so now let's start with trade war. Over to Shraddha from Guwahati.
Terrific news. Today, we are diving into the world of tariffs. Think of them like surprise taxes on your overseas shopping or toll booths on the highway of global trade. But instead of paying for smooth roads, we are paying for, well, that's what we are here to find out. We are looking at how they affect India, and trust me, it's a wild ride. Get ready for some economic twists and turns and maybe a few trade war jokes just to make the moments lighter. Buckle up, it's going to be a terrifying ride. In simple terms, tariffs are taxes on things we buy from other countries. It's like the government's way of saying, hey, we would rather you buy the stuff we make here. The goal is often to make imported goods pricier, to protect domestic industries, and give them a home field advantage. But these taxes can also be used as a bargaining chip in international trade negotiations. It's a delicate balancing act. Anyone ever bought something online and then got hit with an unexpected customs duty? That's a tariff in action. Now over to Sweta from Malda.
Trade wars are fought using various tactics to protect domestic industries. Tariffs are the most common, taxing imported goods to make them more expensive. Import quotas limit the amount of certain products that can be brought in, reducing foreign competition. Governments also use domestic subsidies to support local producers, helping them lower prices. Another tactic is currency devaluation, which makes exports cheaper and more competitive globally. In extreme cases, embargoes are imposed, completely banning trade of specific goods with certain countries. One of the key tools used in trade wars is what's called anti dumping duty. Dumping happens when a country exports a product at a price much lower than it charges in its own market, sometimes even below production cost. So here's the deal. The US president issued an executive order on reciprocal tariffs, imposing additional ad valorem duties ranging from 10% to 50% on imports from all trading partners. As you can see from the table, other countries are also affected, with tariffs varying based on trade volumes and other factors. These aren't your regular taxes, they are extra. It's called reciprocal because it's based on the idea of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Or in this case, you charge me tariff, I'll charge you tax. Trade war, where everyone loses a little. Over to Ruchika from Asansol.
We shall now discuss the tariff details. Let's break it down. A baseline duty of 10% has been applied on all products from April 5, 2025. From April 9, 2025, higher tariffs were implemented for countries with large trade deficits like India 26%, but right now we are on a 90-day pause. Exemptions, pharmaceuticals, copper and semiconductors are safe for now. Relief for some sectors. Steel and automobiles continue to face 25% tariff.
Tariff rates in US since 1800s. This chart shows how tariff rates in US have changed over time. Way back when tariffs were super high, like don't even think about bringing in stuff from elsewhere. Then things calmed down for a while, but now it looks like we're getting a little nostalgic for those old school tariffs. History does love to repeat itself, doesn't it? Over to you, Dimple, from three states.
Global effects of trade war. Trade war can cause significant disruption in global supply chains as countries impose tariffs or restrictions. Companies may need to find new suppliers or relocate production to avoid high costs. Trade war dampens economic activity worldwide, slowing down the GDP growth. Tariff increases the low cost of imported goods, which can lead higher consumer prices, contributing to inflation. Uncertainty in trade policies can lead to market volatility. The demand for gold often increases when confidence in US dollar weakens, which means dilution of dollar supremacy. Tariff and your wallet. Tariff can make things more expensive. If the US slaps tariff on everything, Americans might end up paying more for their stuff. And if they are spending more on necessities, guess what? They might buy less of other things, including some of our exports. It's all connected, folks. The global economy is basically one big, slightly dysfunctional family. Over to you, Shilpa, from Silicon.
Ladies, these US tariffs aren't happening in vacuum. The reason behind this is US big trade deficit. There is a whole global dance of trade tension going on. It's like everyone is suddenly shy about holding hands. Everyone is turning to protectionism. Trade is slowing down and businesses are getting nervous about investing. And China's in the mix too, both as a rival and a major player in the whole scenario. Over to Punam from Siliguri.
Trade war has definitely given us some opportunities, the first being increased export opportunities. The trade tensions between major economies can create opportunities for Indian exporters as countries seek alternative suppliers, which leads to growth in manufacturing industries. And increase in exports leads to reducing trade deficit. The China plus one strategy benefits India as many MNCs look forward to shift their manufacturing units to India. The crude oil prices are going down. India is one of the major crude oil importer, and the trade war has reduced the demand for crude oil, leading to reduction in the prices of crude oil. This also reduces the input cost for many major industries where petrochemical, which is derived from petroleum, is a major raw material. However, trade war has come with its own negatives too. For India, the impact has already begun. Capital is leaving, rupee is shaky, and our GDP growth forecast has a downward bias. Dumping. China will likely want to dump more goods in India because of the higher tariffs in US, thus affecting our global domestic industries and flooding Indian markets with cheap Chinese goods. The supply chain disruption. Trade disruptions could lead to increased cost for Indian businesses that rely on imports from China, particularly pharmaceuticals and automobile industry. Now over to you, Shilpi from Siliguri.
They say when elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. In this case, the elephants are the big economies and the grass is well us. Let's hope we are wearing sturdy shoes. Now, let's have a quick poll. Which Indian sectors do you think are most resilient to global trade tension? Requesting everyone to kindly share your opinions in the chat box. Over to you, Nikeeta from Dhanbad.
So let's see what the real sector scenario is. The US is India's largest export market, contributing to 17% in India's total exports in FY24. In the gems and jewelry sector, if the tariffs are imposed, it will have an adverse impact on both demand and pricing, especially in the polished diamond segment, which is already under pressure from lab grown diamonds. Steel and aluminium sectors were already subject to separate tariffs. While the direct impact is limited, steel manufacturers fear dumping and pricing pressure in the global market. Auto and chemical sectors contribute to 10 and 17% respectively to the exports to US. So impact on these sectors are also limited. Apart from India, China is the major exporter of chemicals to the US. Some segments of the chemical sector in India could be beneficiaries of relatively higher tariffs on China. In the textile and pharma sectors, except for Turkey, all other major exporting nations face tariffs higher than India. So impact on the textile sector would be limited. While the pharma sector has received an initial exemption from the tariffs, companies such as Aurobindo Pharma, Zydus Life Sciences, and Dr. Reddy's laboratories may be significantly affected if the tariffs are imposed. The agricultural sector faces both a challenge and an opportunity in India. It may create a negative impact for our shrimp exporters since Ecuador, being the second largest exporter of shrimp to the US, faces only 10% tariffs, and this could result in competitive pricing pressure for our Indian shrimp exporters. Over to Diksha from Durgapur.
From making in India to making in India. Hi, Vedic House. Here, from making India to making in India. Here we are having India's China plus one moment. Many global companies are the China plus one strategy means India could see more manufacturing shift its way, which is a big win. Companies like Apple, Samsung, ABB, Cohen and Nagel, and MG Entertainment are increasing their presence or shifting production to India. Chinese electronic firms like Lenovo, Haier, Hisense eye India for US exports, and India may gain in dairy exports too. And Indian carriers may gain from China's action against Boeing, since China has put a halt over procurement of Boeing's jet from USA. It may prove beneficial for Indian customers like Air India, Akasa, who are in queue for the purchase order. India's strategy: securing more FTAs and BTAs for economic growth. FTAs are agreement between multiple countries to lower trade barriers and boost international commerce. BTAs are also similar deals, but only between two nations. India is strategically expanding its global trade ties with key economies. Yesterday only, we signed FTA with the UK. This push aimed to significantly increase India's trade flows and unlock opportunities across various sectors worldwide. India and US are expected to finalize BTA by end of May 25. Here, we leave you all with the news clippings which clearly shows the impact of tariff around the globe. Over to Shilpa.
Stay informed, folks. Trade policy affects all of us. So, next time you hear someone say tariff, you will know it's not just a fancy word, it's a potential game changer for our economy.
India is coming along great. I think we'll have a deal with India. The Prime Minister, as you know, was here 3 weeks ago, and they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. Thank you. Thank you.
I, on behalf of Eastern Zone, would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Sri Dhanuka sir for your invaluable guidance, support, and encouragement. It has been instrumental in shaping our growth and understanding. A loud shout out to Sweta, Rachna, Priyanka, and Neha for always being there to clear our doubts. Thank you, everyone, for your engagement. We hope you found the presentation insightful. So, here we are with the sector winner of today's poll. Can anybody guess? It's pharma. A big disclaimer: we do not suggest any investment options. Please go forth and invest wisely. Thank you.